Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Stardom Cast, a podcast we talk all things about the fantastic, amazing, and spectacular professional wrestling company that is Stardom. Folks, we do it in a positive and what I like to think fun manner. I am your host for this episode 260 of the Stardom Cast. My name is Matt Turner, and folks, we only have one show to review today. Only one show to review today. So I was the gentleman that I always am. Gave Mr. Rob Goodwin the night off. I said, "Take the day off, kid. Don't worry about it. Uncle MT's got it." No, Rob had a scheduling issue, so I said, "Hey man, don't worry about it. I shall take care of the Stardom Cast reigns this week. We'll be covering the show from the 13th from just this past week. The show from the 16th just dropped this morning, just a handful of hours ago. I obviously did not get a chance to watch it. But next week, folks, don't worry. Don't worry. This is going to be a short episode. But don't you worry, folks. Next week, not only do we have a whole bunch of shows to review, the show from the 17th, the Cork and Hall show, the big, well, maybe we might not have Cork and Hall, pending on when we're going to record next week. The big pay-per-view coming up on Monday, double title match. Saya Kamatani defending against Natsupoi. Starlight Kid defending against Soriano. Not only that, folks, we have one of the most anticipated episodes of the year, our 5-star primer. So you're going to get not one, but 2 Stardom Cast episodes next week. So again, folks, this episode today is going to be a little bit shorter just because we do have a decent amount of news. We have a lot of Io and Kairi watch this week. Let me tell you, folks, those 2 former World and Wonder of Stardom champions were all over WWE TV. So just one show, quick show, but a really good show to review. We'll get into the news, the notes, Patreon stuff. Again, a lot of stuff on the Io and Kairi watch, especially a must-see match of the year candidate with one Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley this past weekend at WWE Evolution. But yeah, again, just the one show to review. Next week is going to be jammed. Again, this one is going to be, I know you fans, the friends and family of the Stardom Cast, we know that you all like the longer episodes. This, unfortunately, will not be a longer one. Again, just reviewing the show on the 13th. But next week, again, the show on the 16th, the show on the 17th, and as well as the pay-per-view coming up on Monday. And there might be another show there as well that I might be missing. There is a lot of stuff going on as we are marching along, just a handful of days away from the start of this year's 5-star Grand Prix. But folks, again, Rob did send a whole bunch of news and notes. So we'll get into that in a minute. I'll obviously go over to the phone over here, and I will read off his fantastic insight, his news and notes, and then we will get into the show. Before we do, folks, Patreon, your Uncle MT, he has been a busy guy, because a lot of great stuff is on the Patreon feed, and a lot of stuff coming up, not only on the Patreon feed, but the free feed as well. So our alternate commentary from this past week match that Big Dave Meltzer gave the perfect 5 stars to. It is for the Artist of Stardom Championship back at the beginning of this year. Natsupoi, Soriano, and Tam Nakano, the Work Rate Angels, they defend the Artist of Stardom Tag Team Championships against Neo Genesis, Starlight Kid, Azumi, and Miyu Amasaki. Yes, that was dropped on your Patreon feed early this week. Also earlier this week, matches with Matt as we continue the summer of Soriano, as Soriano takes on Tam Nakano back about 3 or 4 weeks before Tam Nakano's final match ever back at Cork and Hall. So that was a really fun one to do with matches with Matt. Now, again, coming up on your Patreon feed in the next few days, Tag Team Breakdown. Myself and Andy Header, we go back to, again, another match from earlier this year as we're continuing on the summer of Soriano. We go back to the final night of this year's Cinderella tournament as Soriano teams with Tam Nakano, a tag team you don't get to see really that much. Soriano teams up Tam Nakano to take on Sakura Demon, Aya Sakura, and Yuna Mizumori. So that is Tag Team Breakdown. That'll be on your feed this weekend. Speaking of things on your feed this weekend, this will be free. This will be a free-for-all as I had a nice little chat with friend of the show and all-around great person, Allison Danger, as we talk about Athena's big show coming up in about 3 weeks' time on August 9th. Who runs the world? Girls. So we did a nice little preview of that. Allison Danger will be doing commentary along with Veda Scott. So we kind of break down the matches that are already announced, what is shaping up to probably be the main event. Three-way dance, Masha Slamovich versus Vert Vixen versus High End. That we talk about that match. We talk about all the other competitors. We've kind of fantasy book where we think that this card is going to go. So I talked to Allison just the other day. That'll be up on your feed for everybody. That'll be a free-for-all this weekend. And speaking of on the free feed for everybody, myself and Andy Header, Talk Joshi, episode 9. That is on your feed. Myself and Andy Header. We talk about the latest chapter of Sorryism, as well as we do talk about where we think we're going to go with this big Sorry Sai Kamatani match, because we know it's looming. We talk about that, and then we talk about AEW All In, especially that phenomenal match between Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné. So that is all the stuff that is coming up on your feed. I'm sorry, there's more stuff. Alternate commentary this Monday, dropping this Monday. Natsupoi Natsupoi challenging Soriano for the Wonder of Stardom Championship. That'll be on your Patreon feed, I believe, on Monday. Same day as Soriano challenging Starlight Kid for the Wonder of Stardom Championship. So you see how I did that, folks? Last time Soriano was in a Wonder of Stardom Championship match versus the match that she's going to have this Monday. So on the same day of Soriano challenging Starlight Kid for the Wonder of Stardom Championship, you can go onto your Patreon feed and watch me do some alternate commentary to Soriano defending the Wonder of Stardom Championship against Juan Natsupoi. And as always, folks, schedules are always changing. I am scheduled early part of next week to record with Scotty Wrestling, as we are going to be doing our roundtable discussion of who do we think had the greatest final night in 5-star history. Was it Mayu in 2018? Was it Hana Kimura in 2019? Was it Utami Hayashishita in 2020? Obviously you had Shuri in 2021, Julia in 2022, Micah last 2 years had 2 fantastic final nights of the 5-star Grand Prix. Would it be Saya Kamatani, even though she lost last year's 5-star Grand Prix the finals? She had a great final night with Hanan in the semifinals, and then Micah on the final night. So while we are scheduled to record early next week again, there had, obviously cards subject to change. Hopefully we can get that episode up to you in the next week or so. Also, I did record my What If episode with one Allison Danger as well. Again, folks, I'm telling you, I'm a busy guy. We're rocking and rolling. My What If with Allison Danger, that'll be up on your Patreon feed sometime in the next week or so. We did record just the other day, so it is in the can. It is ready to go. We recorded What If. Our What If episode was fantasy booking. What if we were to book Sherry Martel, prime Sherry Martel in current day wrestling? So that was a really fun one to do. So also we are scheduled to record the next episode of Talk Joshi, where myself and Andy Header sometime next week, we're going to be talking about the Sendai Girl show that is on tap for this weekend, that does see Dash Chisako taking on Hazuki in a hardcore match, and the main event of Team 200K versus Red Energy. So me and Andy, we're just trying to figure out the dates and time when we can get to that and record that. So again, so much great stuff, not only on the Stardom Cast, the Marigold Standard. I just finished a few hours ago that fantastic show Marigold put on Cork and Hall with that blistering damn near 60-minute main event match with Utami Hayashishita and Takumi Roha. That'll be on your feeds in the next day or two, as well as I'm scheduled to record with Rob on Friday. So again, hopefully no card subject to change on that one. As again, everybody's busy. I know everybody's busy, but again, a lot of great content coming out. Again, alternate commentary. You got great stuff on there. Again, alternate commentary coming up this week. Natsupoi and Soriano. We do have, again, What If with Allison Danger, an interview with Allison Danger talking about the Athena Who Runs the World show. A lot of great stuff with Andy Header. Again, Talk Joshi. We might get another Talk Joshi episode in next week, depending on how schedules go, because I know he's going to the shore in 2 weeks. So I'm trying to get as much content with him as I can. So a lot of great stuff, folks. A lot of great stuff coming up on, again, the Stardom Cast, Marigold Standard, Talk Joshi, especially on the Patreon. So, and again, thanks to all of our new Patreon members. I think we got 3 new ones in the last week. So again, greatly appreciate everybody's support. And yeah, keep on watching, keep on listening, and keep on keeping on, as we are in really busy season with tournament season coming up here in the next few days. Now, folks, let's get into the news and notes that one Mr. Rob Goodwin sent over. So let's talk about, right up the top, the full card for the pay-per-view coming up this weekend. the on the 21st, Monday, on a Monday, folks. Gonna have to wake up early on a Monday to watch this show because there's no way I'm missing this one. No way I'm missing this one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run down the card. We're gonna start this off with a bang. We're gonna start this off with a bang because I want to end it with the Io and Kyrie watch because again, a lot of great stuff going on with our two favorite wrestlers over there in WWE. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run down this card here for the Rendezvous show, and then I'm gonna go over my predictions. So we do have my guess. This match here, the very first match, is going to be your YouTube pre-show match. Shorian versus Emma Mashima. Then we have our 5-star qualifier match with Akira versus Uriah Hime. And then we have FWC Hazuki Kagama versus Rice or Bread or Hanako and Waka versus Sakura Daman of Yuna and Aya versus the Tokyo Towers of Ami Sourei and Lady C. That is going to be a great 4-way tag match. Excellent stuff there. Mila Vita Loca, Bozilla, Rina Yamashita, and Suzu Suzuki taking on Neo Genesis of Azumi, Mei Seira, and Miyu Amasaki. We have the hit team of Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, Konami, and Ruaka taking on the Stars trio of Hanan, Saida, Momo Kogo, and they'll be teaming up with Kyoko Furusawa. And then we get into our 3 championship matches, Hina versus Sayaka Kurora, Wonder of Stardom Championship, Starlight Kid defending against Soriano, and World of Stardom Championship, Sai Kamatani versus Natsupoi. Again, folks, this is the Sapporo show that they ran back-to-back last year. I believe they did under 1,000 tickets. From what I understand, this is the venue that they run is a venue that really isn't popular with pro wrestling. This show is just about sold out. And pro wrestling is a lot of walk-up business, especially every pro outside of like WWE and AEW. It's pro wrestling is a lot of walk up business. People will get to the show an hour and change early and get their tickets as they're walking in. We've seen that before, where we've seen the Cork and Hall shows that maybe they sold 1,000 tickets and they would sell like 200 or 300 on the day of, because that's just the way that it is. Pro wrestling is a lot of walk up business because there is sometimes you can get some deals on tickets when you wait to the last minute. So just because they're trying to fill the seat. So I'm expecting this one to do well over 1,000 tickets. This looks unbelievable. This show looks unbelievable. And again, we have this on Monday, the Corkin show, I believe, on Wednesday. And then on Sunday, we do have the start of the 5-star Grand Prix. And again, we're going to be doing our 5-star primer coming up early next week. So, within 6 days. So not this Sunday, but next Sunday is the start of the 5-star Grand Prix. The 27th of July, which is my wife's birthday. So, I got her 16 Stardom matches for her birthday. Shh, don't tell her. She doesn't listen to this anyway. Okay, so let's go predictions. Rion versus Emma. Rion's in the 5-star Grand Prix. Emma's not. A win for Rion. Akira versus Uriah Hime. And Rob and I talked about this a little bit on the Stardom Cast last week. Who we think is going to qualify. And Uriah Hime, new look, is coming oozing with a lot of aura and charisma. And somebody that my guess is going to be part of Stars in the next month or two. But Akira is coming off that great championship match with Hina for the Future Stardom Championship. She is in a faction, officially in a faction, in Mi La Vida Loca. This is a tough one to call, but I'm going to say Akira wins this one. This 4-way tag dance with FWC, Wanako, Sakura Daman, and the Tokyo Towers. Again, this can kind of go any way. I'd like to see FWC get a win to kind of start building themselves back up. I'm going to say Sakura Daman takes this one. But I can really see any one of these 4 teams win. But I'm going to say Sakura Daman wins this one. Mi La Vida Loca, Neo Genesis. I think that Bozilla is going to get the win here over Miyu Amasaki to really build her up towards the 5-star. So I'm going to say Mi La Vida Loca wins that one. We have the Hate Team versus Stars and Kyoko. Kyoko's the rookie. She's eating the fall here. I'm going to say that it is Tora that pins Kyoko. So I'm going to go with Hate there. Sayaka Kurora versus Hina. This is a tricky one because obviously Sayaka Kurora, the winner of the Cinderella tournament, she came within eyelashes of pulling off the biggest upset in Stardom history a few months ago in Cork and Hall and almost beat Sai Kamatani to win the World of Stardom Championship. Hina's on an absolute roll. This might be the toughest one for me to call. But I'm going to say Hina retains, but I would not be shocked if they put the belt on the winner of this year's Cinderella tournament. And then we go into, I'm just calling it a double main event because there's a possibility we have 2 4.5 to 5-star matches back to back. But obviously, we know Kamatani and Poise going on last. But again, I'm just saying, it just feels like a double main event. Starlight Kid and Soriano. I would not be shocked if Soriano wins this, and that'll open up the door for Starlight Kid to win the 5-star Grand Prix. However, I just think Starlight Kid being the Wonder of Stardom champion, and that is a belt that we've really seen you've been able to main event shows with ever since Kyrie main evented shows was a draw. Io main evented shows was a draw. Momo Watanabe main evented a lot of shows in 2018 and 2019 as the Wonder of Stardom champion and drew really well. Arisa, Tam, Julia as well. Starlight Kid, I think it's like the perfect storm with her being so good, so over, the company being white hot, pun intended. See what I did there? I just think you keep the belt on her and you can kind of go the 1-2 punch with her and Kamatani as your two champions, and then you're just going to be drawing tons of money. But I'm going to say Starlight Kid wins. Would not be shocked if Soriano does win the Wonder of Stardom Championship for the third time. World of Stardom Championship. This might be the easiest one for me to predict. I love Natsupoi. Who does not love Natsupoi? She's the murder pixie, the high-speed fairy. The stuff she's been saying online about how she wants to be the top of Joshi Pura Wrestling World of Stardom Championship to prove that. It's her first shot at the red belt. She's never challenged for the red belt before. You're not taking this belt off Saya Kamatani. She is the hottest thing the company's ever had, maybe ever. I mean, she was always really a good draw in 2022 when she was Wonder Champion, in 2023 before she got hurt. Then the heel turn put her on a completely another level. This is the year, basically the show of last year when they did the Rendezvous show where Kamatani did turn heel. I don't see Kamatani losing. She is just, in my opinion, as we're 6.5 months into this year, she's the wrestler of the year. She's drawing tons of money for Stardom. She is doing all these different TV shows and talk shows. I mean, she is a PR dream for Stardom. So I just don't see her losing the belt. I see this being an amazing match. I do see the combination of the Ferial gift into the Ferial ring as a big, big falsy in this match. I just don't see that title changing. So again, this looks like a phenomenal card. Again, on a Monday. My Sundays are really long, folks. My Sundays are really long. So this might be 2-3 hours of sleep and then back up for the show, just because this is a show I definitely want to catch live. Again, since I've been covering Stardom, almost the last 4 years, 95% of the shows, the pay-per-views I catch live. The Corkins, depending, on my schedule, I try to catch those live. I will find a way or make one. As the one of my favorite bands, Marna Mott, says, find a way or make one. I will find a way to catch this show live, especially those last 3 matches. So yeah, super excited for the show, folks. Let me know in the comment section below who you think is going to win. Let me know who you think is going to win. Comment section below or tweet at me. Who's going to win that 4-way tag dance with FWC, Sakura Demon, Rice or Bread, or the Tokyo Towers? That's a really interesting one for me. So yeah, super excited for that one, folks. It is finally happening. Announced earlier today with a match graphic. Hope you're all sitting down, folks. May Sarah is finally defending the High Speed Championship. Yes, she's finally defending the High Speed Championship. And I made mention of this, I think last week or the week before, when I was talking about how great Pro Wrestling Waves Hanako is. I thought she was terrific in the New Blood show. She was terrific in the Corrigan show that I reviewed about a week or 2 ago. And I thought her and Mace had great chemistry. And I even said, boy, I would love to see them have a high-speed championship match. And here it is, folks. We're getting it on Corkin Show, July 24th. So that would be on next Thursday. So I'm just looking at the dates here. So yeah, the Stardom Cast in 2 weeks will have us reviewing the Corkin Show, as well as I believe the nights 1 and night 2 of the 5-star Grand Prix. So here we go. Stardom have announced today, again, as I'm recording this, 7/17, that May Sarah will finally defend her high-speed championship on the Corkin Hall show coming up July 24th. This will be the first time since March the 3rd that May Sarah has defended the belt. It's been 144 days. And again, her opponent, Pro Wrestling Waves Hanako, who was across the ring from May Sarah the last time Stardom ran Corkin Hall on July 6th. And this will be her first attempt at the championship. Now, the rest of this card in Corkin Hall is as follows. Bozilla challenging Azumi for the New Japan Strong Championship. BMI 2000 challenging Wing Gory for the Goddesses Stardom Tag Team Championships, as well as what I think will probably be the main event. And this was set up on the Sariism show. Myself and Andy talked about it a little bit on Tak Joshi. The main event, again, what I think is going to be the main event of the show. Sorry, Chi-Chi, Miku Kanai taking on Sai Kamatani, Momo Watanabe, and Konami. So that's not the complete card. Those are the main matches. Since we're talking about it, folks, I'm going to give my predictions. So let's start with Team Sorry versus Team Sai Kamatani. And again, I mentioned this on Talk Joshi, and I'll mention it again right here, right now, because why not? We're talking about it. I think, Rob is very adamant, and I'm kind of going with him, that we're going to see Momo Watanabe start turning babyface because she keeps missing these baseball bat shots. Well, not missing, she's hitting the wrong person. She's hitting her members of hate with baseball bat shots, and we're getting into the 5-star. And again, I know me and him are going to be recording early next week our 5-star primer with our predictions, and I'm assuming, because he's been telling me for a month or two, he thinks Momo Watanabe is going to win the 5-star Grand Prix, and by the time we get to her title challenge, Momo Watanabe will be babyface. My guess is where you really start seeing the big cracks in this. My guess, Momo Watanabe misses a baseball bat shot, and it's either Kamatani or Konami, and then it's Sorry with the Uranagi onto one of them. So I'm going to say Team Sorry wins due to an inapparent baseball bat shot from Momo Watanabe. So that would be my prediction there. As far as this high-speed championship match goes, I'm super excited for it. I'm going to say May Sarah does retain. Again, 5-star Grand Prix is just 3 days after this show. So it's cool to have the champions in the tournament. And if somebody beats the champion, you can go, oh, that's a future white belt match or a red belt match or an IWGP match or a goddess match or an artist match or a high-speed match. So you can kind of fantasy book and see where they're going after the 5 stars we get into the fall. So I'm going to say May Sarah wins. This is going to be a great match. I'm super excited for it. Again, if you remember, we do have those new set of rules, 2 out of 3 falls with a total time limit of 10 minutes. Maybe it goes to the time limit draw. I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I'm really excited for some high-speed action. So we have not seen that in quite some time. And then the other 2 championship matches, both of these are a little tough to call. Again, Rob and I talked about it last week. BMI 2000, Natsuko Tora and Ruaka against Wingori of Hanan and Saida. I'm 75% sure that Wingori are going to retain, but I wouldn't be shocked if they kind of pull a shocker a few days before the 5-star Grand Prix just to get some more buzz around the tournament. But I don't see any reason why you would take it off Wingori. Ever since they won the belts against Momo Watanabe and Tekla, they've been on a roll. Successful title defenses against FWC, against Mayu and Momo Kogo at the Spring Break show. Peach Rock, great match at the beginning of the year against Mai Sarah and Suzu Suzuki back when they were part of Neo Genesis of Crazy Star. And then, in my opinion, the best tag match I've seen all year and one of the best tag matches in Stardom history just about a month or so ago at the conversion against Sororipoi. So I'm going to say Wingori retains, but I would not be shocked if BMI 2000 gets the win. Now, this is the tricky one. Azumi versus Bozilla for the New Japan Strong Championship. Now, the reason why it's so tricky is Bozilla just came in, again, on the conversion show with all this fanfare. Obviously, everybody know who she was. She had a great 1-year run over at Marigold. It was dominant, great matches with Utami, Sari, Nanae Takahashi. I can go on and on and on. Bozilla is phenomenal. So she just came in. So do you have her eat a loss here? Well, normal wrestling psychology, normal booking psychology, like, no, she's a hot topic. You have her win. But Azumi has finally won a championship since she's not won a singles championship in 2 years since the high-speed championship. So, but it's her V1. If this was like her V4 or 5 or 6, I'd say Bozilla. Bozilla was in the company 8-9 months. I'd say Azumi. So I don't know which way they're going to go. I'm going to pick Azumi, and here's the only reason why. They just came up with the merchandising team of Stardom just came up with new acrylic stands of Azumi, and she has the New Japan Strong Championship. Now, that doesn't really mean anything because how many times have we seen they came out with the plaques and they'll flip the belt? Like Sherry and Konami, they had the belts for like 9 days, something like that. Sherry just wins the IWGP Joshi Championship against Mayu back at All-Star Grand Queendom, and then she loses it like 6 weeks later to Sari. So it's like, I know that doesn't mean anything, but like when I'm splitting hairs here on who I think is going to win, that's the reason why I'm going with it, folks. Again, let me know, let me know if you're listening to this on Patreon, the comment section below. If you're watching this on YouTube, comment section below, or send me a message or tag me on social media. You guys know how to get a hold of me, Matt Turner OF. Let me know who you think is going to win these matches. So Really interested to see where they go there, folks. And again, I just talked about it on this next piece of news that Rob said, but I'm gonna read it out here. After the culmination of another great Sorryism show on July 14th, again, myself and Andy Header, we did record. It's already in your feed. Talk Joshi, episode 9. Give it a listen. Sorry and Sai Kamatani were involved in a post-match confrontation, which grew to involve Chi-Chi and Miku Kunai. Obviously, massive fans of Chi-Chi, massive fan of one Miku Kunai. Follow this. Stardom took to their social media to announce the exciting multi-women's match for the company's upcoming show on Cork and Hall, with, again, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago, Sorry, Chi-Chi, Miku Kunai, taking on Sai Kamatani, Momo Watanabe, and Konami. Extra spice will be added to this, given that Sari already finds herself in the same block as Momo Watanabe and Konami and the upcoming 5-star Grand Prix, which, again, will take place next Monday. Will start next Monday on July 27th. And again, great notes from Rob here. Yeah, again, if you watch that Sorryism show at the end, Sorry says, Kamatani, pick any 2 partners you want. I was like, she's going to go to the hate bullpen, but I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't say no if she took Hina and Lady C. Like, it's going to be great because Chi-Chi's great, Miku Kunai's great. Sari versus Saya Kamatani, when they decide to pull the trigger on that match, it's going to be the biggest match in all of Japanese wrestling for either this year or next year, whenever they decide to pull the trigger on that. But I'm like, if she goes to the hate bullpen, and again, I mentioned this on Talk Joshi, I love Tora, I love Ruaka, Rina, Zeus Inaba, Fukin Death. They're all great. But for me, if you're asking me to rank in ring the best wrestlers in hate, number 1 is Sai Kamatani, number 2 is Momo Watanabe, and number 3 is Konami. Rina is right there, though. Rina is right there for that number 3 spot. So it's like, I don't care who she takes, it's going to be terrific. And she took, in my opinion, the number 2 and number 3. It's like, oh, and I didn't realize until I read Rob's notes here that this does add a lot of extra spice, to quote his words, because Konami and Momo Watanabe are in the same block as Sari. So I was like, ooh. So we're getting a little preview there. So that is going to be really, really exciting. So I'm super excited for the Cork and Hall show coming up in just 1 week's time. And again, that is just taking place days after the Sapporo Rendezvous show with the Wonder and World of Stardom Championships, plus that great 4-way. Just really, really great cards from Stardom coming up in a 6-day span. Again, the pay-per-view Sapporo show is on Monday, the 21st. Corkin is Thursday, the 24th. And the start of the 5-star Grand Prix with 16 matches, folks. And I'm excited. I'm not complaining about that. 16 matches, the start of the 5-star Grand Prix, as we do have the start of the 5-star Grand Prix, 16 matches on the 27th on that Sunday. So again, within 6 days, we have 3 loaded shows. So heck yeah. I'm the type of person you can't have too much of a good thing. The next part of news from one Mr. Rob Goodwin, Shuri makes a AEW surprise debut at the women's casino, at the All-In women's casino gauntlet match. So what had happened was Shuri, there's pictures of Shuri walking around Starcast in Dallas. So it was like, ooh, clearly there's something brewing there. So it's like, okay, she's probably part of the casino gauntlet battle royal. She did make mention that she needs to heal up a little bit, but wants to level up overseas. It was about an hour or so later during the Ring of Honor show, after the pictures kind of leaked out all over social media, that during the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor show, which was great, that Ring of Honor, they ran a vignette saying that Shuri is coming. And with Excalibur doing the background, they're basically showing Shuri kicking ass in Stardom, and then with Excalibur doing the background saying, with her great, and it's all over social media. If you haven't seen it, just type in Shuri AEW vignette or whatever, you'll find it. Basically saying, with Shuri's background, one of the hardest hitters, looking to add more gold to her impressive resume. And then after that, again, if you watched it on the ROH pay-per-view, Ian Riccaboni said Shuri's coming, not only to Ring of Honor, but AEW as well. She wants to compete in AEW and Ring of Honor. So that's really cool. And then we get the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royal, AEW's biggest show of the year, their biggest gate that they've ever done in the United States, Globe Life Field, which was a phenomenal start-to-finish show. Making her AEW debut, Shuri appeared as a surprise participant in the Women's Casino Gauntlet match, which also contained Stardom alumni Tekla, Mina Shirakawa, and Megan Bayne. She was ultimately unsuccessful winning the match, however, with Athena securing a future AEW Women's Championship match by pinning one Mina Shirakawa. So Athena, again, if you haven't seen it, spoilers. Athena hits the O-face onto Mina Shirakawa and pins her 1-2-3. The one thing that I did point out, and all over social media, and again on when Andy and I did talk Joshi, is Athena and Sherry, they had to stare off. And almost 30,000 people were chanting holy bleep, holy bleep, holy bleep. With them airing the vignette with Sherry coming to AEW Ring of Honor on Ring of Honor, my guess is somewhere down the road that they're going to be doing a Sherry versus Athena match for the Ring of Honor Championship. Again, Athena did win this Battle Royal, so she's going to be challenging more than likely Timeless Toni Storm for said belt. So she needs to be dropping that ring. By she, I mean Athena will probably be dropping the Ring of Honor Championship sooner than later. And what a better perfect person to do it than one Sherry. So, yeah, again, we don't know because Sherry did announce on June 29th in backstage comments that she'd be taking a hiatus from the Stardom ring, citing her loss for the IWGP Championship to Sari in that Match of the Year candidate that broke the Dave Meltzer 5-star rating. Back to Sari at the conversion. She did say this would not be the end for her Stardom run, and she will return with a comeback, firmly focusing on regaining the IWGP Championship. Sherry did say, I believe earlier today or yesterday, that she has to go in for like minor elbow surgery. We don't be out. Obviously, Micah just had her elbow surgery. She's going to be out until either the end of this year or beginning of next year. This could be something that maybe they're just trying to. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV. But this could be just what I know about wrestling and MMA and sports, where you hear somebody that have elbow surgery. Sometimes these are done, and like you can be back into playing your sport in 3 or 4 weeks. So maybe that's what it is. I know that the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view is Death Before Dishonor, and that is September 5th at the ECW Arena, which looks like myself and Andy Header will be attending because ECW Arena is only about 90 minutes or so away from my house. So, again, fingers crossed that she's healed up for that. And I'm fantasy booking Athena versus Sherry. Not only fantasy, but throwing out there in the universe, folks. Athena versus Sherry for the ROH Championship at the ECW Arena. I think that would be absolutely fantastic and a dream as well. I mean, that's, if they pull the trigger on that match, that's the perfect building to do it because it's Philadelphia, the most hardcore of hardcore fans. It's the ECW Arena. That building has so much history, again, going back to ECW and CZW, Chikara, as well as Ring of Honor. So I'm just hoping, I think that's the perfect place for it. Again, it all depends on Sherry's health and the timing and the booking. So the last bit of news, Azusa Inaba to defend both Queen of JTO and the JTO girls talents again. Azusa Inaba to defend both Queen of JTO and the JTO girls titles against Stardom talent. After defeating her sister Tomoka Inaba at JTO's 6th anniversary show in Corkin Hall on July 11th, 17-year-old, crazy. I think I have ties older than Azusa Inaba. 17-year-old Azusa Inaba became a double champion, holding the JTO girls title and becoming the new Queen of JTO champion. If there was any thoughts about what type of champion she's going to be, those thoughts were quickly answered when challengers from both of her titles were confirmed when she took the microphone following the match. Firstly, Cosmic Angel Sayaka Kurora will be next to challenge for the JTO title. Sayaka Kurora is challenging for a lot of belts here, folks. And as well as Kyoko Kutatsu will be Inaba's first challenger for the Queen of JTO Championship, which has already been confirmed for the August 11th match in Yokohama. Those are going to be 2 great matches. Sayaka Kurora, again, she's phenomenal. She does a great job taking a butt kicking and getting babyface sympathy on her to make her come back. And we know Azusa Inaba is great at kicking butt. As great as that match is, the one I'm looking forward to even more would be her and Kyoko Kutatsu. We've seen them in the tag matches when you're doing a Hate versus God's Eye, that they're doing the shoot style to open up those matches. So, yeah, I'm super excited for that. And I believe my good friend, fellow independent wrestler, Trevor Terry, worked on that show. So congratulations to him. I know he trained at the JTO dojo. He had a really bad injury, and I came back from it and went to Japan, trained at the JTO dojo. I believe he worked that show. So good on him, folks. Good on him. It just goes to show you that if you really bust your ass and believe in yourself, you can accomplish anything. So again, not only making his Japan debut, but working. I'm almost positive he worked on this show, and it was in Corkin Hall, because I know he told me he did wrestle in Corkin Hall. So, man, good on him. I just love seeing great things that happen to great people. And again, he's only been an indie wrestler for about 3 years now. He's located over here in the Northeast area of Pennsylvania. So give him a look. Trevor Terry, great look, great guy, fantastic worker from the handful of matches I've seen him wrestle, and just an absolute sponge, Now, Rob did send me the bite-sized show reports for the show on Sunday the 13th and the show that just got uploaded today from the 16th. Again, it just went up a few hours ago. I did not get time to watch it. We will watch it and we will cover it on next week's loaded show. Again, folks, this is going to be a shorter episode, but next week we have our 5-star primer. And then again, we're covering, I think, 3, 4, maybe even 5 shows, depending on how everything shakes up next week. And again, obviously, we'll be covering the big pay-per-view on Monday. So we have a whole bunch of shows to cover and the 5-star primer. So you're going to get probably around 4 hours of Stardom Cast content next week. You're welcome. You're welcome. And again, folks, you want more content? Allison Danger interview coming. We have Talk Joshi. It's already dropped. More than likely Talk Joshi next week. So much stuff on the Patreon. So again, for everybody, it's like, you guys only went 2 hours and some odd minutes. And this one's probably going to go probably around an hour or so. Don't worry. Again, you're going to get your fill of so many other things. And if you still want your fill, for some reason, you still want more of me and Rob Goodwin, you're probably going to get about 4 hours worth of Stardom Cast content next week. So again, folks, we're just going to review this one show and then talk about just the loaded week from one Io Shirai and Kairi Sane. So again, here's our bite-sized show notes. Rina will continue to be absent pretty much from shows until now into the 5-star Grand Prix, as she's just trying to clear concussion protocol. Hopefully that she is better, because again, I'm recording this on the 17th. We are 10 days away from the start of the 5-star Grand Prix. So it is looking like she will be okay. It might just be a precaution where they're just taking her off shows. Obviously, she was pulled from the Cork and Hall show and the shows from this past week because of the concussion that she suffered on New Blood 23. Again, Rob has a lot of the injury reports here. Xena still out. She's been out for roughly around a year. Micah, again, obviously out probably until the end of the year and probably until next year. But Toy Hamabi will be missing for the upcoming shows due to, I believe it was a knee injury. We still don't know her timetable of return, as well as Ann Kanai. So Matoy Hamabi, who again only wrestled very much like Ann Kanai, only wrestled a handful of matches. They're both super impressive. They've been both out with injury. Hazuki will be absent from this show as she's competing in the next round of Catch the Wave tournament for Pro Wrestling Wave. Let's go into the attendance notes, folks. The attendance notes. The announced attendance inside. Oh, I'm going to crush this. Parayusa Izukawa in Fukushima. I think I did okay. Fukushima was 302 people. This is the second time the company has ran the menu, with the attendance being broadly right around the same as last time, as they back August of last year. They ran night 9 of the 5-star Grand Prix, 305 people. So not bad. Again, back last year in the 5-star Grand Prix, they had Mayu, they had Tam, they had Tekla, they had Micah, and they, here it is, just basically a normal Stardom World show, a house show, and they ran roughly the same amount of people. Just goes to show you how hot the company really is. So again, right around the same time, 302 people. Really nice venue. I hope this is a venue maybe they go back to like maybe once every other month, because crowd was into everything. It was a cool looking venue. Here are quick results, and then we'll do the Matt Turner done Sports Center breakdown of it. So match number 1, numero uno, tag team match. The Cosmic Angels team of Aya Sakura and Sayaka Kurora defeating the God's Eye duo of Hina and Kyoto Katatsu, as Sayaka Kurora pins Hina, really setting up their match with a Takameki spear, 10 minutes, 22 seconds. Really great hot opener. Again, I'll get into it in a minute. Singles match of Yuna Mizumori defeating Akira Kurigami. Yuna Mizumori getting the win with the electric chair drop. Tag team match, Neo Genesis of Starlight Kid and Miyu Amasaki. You don't see these two team up that often, but they worked really well. They defeat Koguma and Emma Mashimiya when it is Starlight Kid forcing Emma to tap out in 10 minutes, 11 seconds with the Black Tiger leg killer submission. Singles match of Natsuko Tori using the top rope body press onto Kyoko Furusawa in 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Natsuko Tori getting a win over the game rookie in what was a really fun match. Then we go to 6-woman tag team action, as we do have, this was when this match was announced and it started, I was like, oh, I would like to see this maybe a number 1 contenders match for the Artists of Stardom tag team champions. As we have the Stars trio of Hanan, Saida, and Momo Kogo picking up a win over EXV, Hanako, Rian, and Waka, when it is Hanan pinning Rion with the Hanan special at 11 minutes and 56 seconds. Again, I'm a big fan of both these teams. I would love to see one of, if not both these teams, challenge Neo Genesis for the Artist of Stardom champions somewhere in the future. Or if they have a kind of a break in the 5-star Grand Prix, you can put it there or do it like right after at a Corkin show. Because again, I think both these teams have really stepped up their game after these last 3 months with all these huge stars leaving Stardom, and they picked up a lot of steam in the best way possible. Semi-main event tag team match as we have Milu Vita Loco, Suzuki, and Bozilla defeating the Neo Genesis team of Azumi and Mei Sarah, basically the high-speed sisters, I guess we can call them. When Bozilla just absolutely rocks Azumi with this power bomb. I mean, she just crushes Azumi with the sit-out power bomb. 10 minutes, 41 seconds. Main event, Ami Sourei homecoming match. Ami Sourei, Lady C, Saki Kashima defeating the Hate Trio of Sai Kamatani, Momo Watanabe, and Kunami when it is Ami Sourei pinning Kunami with the Like a Thunderbolt. It's the first time we've seen the Like a Thunderbolt since Ami Sourei's return. And, now I'm kind of looking at this. Saya, Momo, and Kunami, they're challenging Team Sari coming up here in a week's time. Kind of, I guess it's because I believe it's Ami Sourei's home, basically her homecoming show. Kind of wonder maybe they should have put the Hate team over. But regardless, a really, really solid match. Now, folks, let's get into the breakdown. Break it down. Waka X. Okay, so again, opener, Cosmic Angels duo of Aya Sakura and Sayaka versus Hina and Kyoko Tatsu. So we do see Sayaka, she comes in hot, a whole bunch of drop kicks to Hina. Majority of this match, as great as Aya is, and she's terrific, and great as Kyoto is, this match was just building up Hina versus Sayaka for their Artist of Stardom Championship match coming up on Monday on that big pay-per-view show. Again, Aya and Kyoto, they work the same style, a lot of great kicks, kick exchanges, low kicks, ground wrestling. I would love to see them in a like an 8 to 10 minute match in a Corkin or KBS Hall or a Sapporo show or anything like that. They were really good, but eventually we get some great tag work between both teams, especially with Cosmic Angels, because we've seen Aya and Sayaka team up quite a bit. But ultimately, what this boils down to is you're just putting more steam behind the Hina versus Sayaka Kurara match. We do see the Hina special onto Sayaka for a 2 count. Hina then hits the big ending for a 2 count, and then she goes for the jackhammer. Sayaka Kurara slips out, locks Hina in the rear naked choke. This is a really cool spot. Locks Hina in the rear naked choke. Hina goes to try to get to the ropes. Sayaka pulls her back and hits the violent shooting. So shout out to our lovely hero, the retired one Tam Nakan. And I like how Sayaka's been using the violent shooting quite a bit over these last 2 months. But I like how she used the rear naked choke. And as like Hina was trying to get out, she released the hold, but it opened the door for the violent shooting. So I really like that 1-2 combination. And then we get some more back and forth between the two. We do see Hina try to steal one with the Gedo clutch. Sakura is able to get out and then hit the big Takameki spear for the 3 count. 3 3/4 stars, 10.5 minutes, roughly 10 minutes, 22 seconds to tell their story. Again, Aya was terrific. Kyoto was great, but this is all about Hina and Sayaka Kurara. And if this is just a little bit of appetizer, just a little bite at the apple of what we're going to see on Monday, this can just be another great Future of Stardom Championship match. And we always talk about how great the red belt matches are and the white belt matches are, and they are, and the IWGP matches. I was going to say ever since that Mayu had the belt, but even like the Mercedes Kyrie stuff was pretty good as well. But obviously Mayu took it to another level, and then Shuri and Sari was terrific. And obviously the Goddess belts have been fantastic the last 6 months because of Wingori. But we kind of almost underestimate how great these Future Stardom Championship matches have been. Rina had a really great run with the belt, broke the record, had great matches. Match she lost the belt to Miyu Amasaki. That is arguably the greatest Future Stardom Championship match of all time. And he just been crushing with his title. Just really had a great match with Akira a few weeks ago. And the way that this is setting up, too, this can be another 4.25 to 4.5 star match. Again, from what it's looking like on the card, it's looking like it's third from the top. So as long as this gets 10, 11, 12 minutes for these two to tell their story, I think these two are really going to crush it. And I'm really looking forward to this. And I cannot wait to get everybody's take on it, especially Rob's take on just what a great underrated wrestler Hina is. And she's one of the many wrestlers I'm really looking forward to that what's going to happen with her in the 5-star. Again, she is in that block with Sari, with Mo Watanabe, with Konami, with a lot of killers, Suzuki, with a lot of killers. So I'm really excited. I think she's going to be one that's not going to have a lot of points, but it's going to have really good matches. Again, Hina's improvement over the last 5 or 6 months is something that's kind of gone under the radar. And I think we need to put more respect and more love behind one Hina, the JK fighter. She's terrific. And again, I'm really looking forward to her match with Sayaka Kurora. They did a great job building up the anticipation in this match for that match coming up on Monday. Match number 2, and this we had Yuna Mizumori versus Akira Kurigami. We start out with some great chain wrestling. Akira doesn't want that. She wants to fight on the floor. So this match gets a little dirty. Akira gets the advantage, beating up Yuna on the outside. We go back in the ring. Yuna fires up, hits this. I'm sorry, we don't go back to the ring. Yuna eventually slams Akira on the floor. Then she does like a full run across the whole entire ring, and then on the outside and gets this big running tackle, which I thought was a cool spot. Match number 2, you're doing something different. That might have been like the bump of the match. Like, oh, that was really cool. Back of the ring we go. We get a big forearm trade off, which I thought was great. Akira does her trademark Russian leg sweep into the crossface, which I really love. Back to a forearm trade off we go. Akira wins that forearm trade off. Akira then scores a 2 count with a half house suplex. She hits Insaguri onto Yuna. Yuna fires up, hits a big lariat, and then hits the electric chair drop for a 3 count. Again, 7 minutes, 46 seconds, 3.5 stars. A really, really good outing between these two wrestlers. And again, Yuna's another one I'm really looking forward to what she does in the 5-star Grand Prix. Match number 3, Miyu Amasaki and Starlight Kid taking on Emma and Koguma. Miyu and Koguma, they start out with some comedy, some really fun stuff with the bear dance. They kind of play off their really fast match at last year's 5-star Grand Prix. And then we get some really great Emma and Koguma teamwork. We get some really great Emma and Starlight Kid high-speed style offense. Again, we're finally getting a high-speed match coming up again in 1 week's time, next Thursday in Cork Hall. I wouldn't be shocked, wouldn't be hurt, wouldn't be upset if Emma then challenges said winner of that match, because I think she's really great. She's come a long way in her short time in pro wrestling, and she's somebody that has a really, really bright future. Starlight Kid starts breaking down Emma's knee, does the moonsault to the knee, the dragon screw leg whip. They're making some really fast, again, high-speed style 2 counts. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, back and forth between one Starlight Kid and Emma. Koguma and Miyu Amasaki, they kind of run interference in between. Eventually, Miyu's able to almost halt Koguma, just enough time for Starlight Kid to go back to the knee, lock in the leg crusher submission for the finish. 3.5 stars for me. Again, really solid stuff. Great stuff with Starlight Kid and Emma towards the end. Again, Starlight Kid is in that role where she's the main eventer and she's taking the talent on the middle of the card and at the start of the card and pulling them up in certain matches. And just for a time or two, just for a few moments in time, you think that Emma can defeat the Wonder of Stardom champion. And that is just a testament to how great Starlight Kid is and how bright of a future Emma has. So match number 4, Natsuko Tora versus Kyoko Furusawa. Kyoko comes in. She's all fired up. She's all fired up to take on former Red Belt champion. She comes in with several drop kicks. Eventually, Natsuko Tora is like, no, we're going to play this. This is my game. This is my game. She throws Emma to the floor. She beats her up. We get a kind of a longer heat. We get a really great sympathy. Natsuko Tora does a great job getting the crowd behind Kyoko Furusawa again, because she's a rookie, and Natsuko Tora is the leader of the big heel faction. Eventually, Kyoko is able to fire back up. She's able to do that rolling ankle lock that I like so much. But eventually, Natsuko Tora, she's just too much, hits the top rope splash in about 4.5 minutes for the 3 count. Natsuko Tora, again, building momentum for her big tag team championship challenge coming up in Cork Hall. That match for me, folks, 3.25 stars. Folks, we go to my favorite match of this show. We go to, again, what I would like to see this as a number 1 contenders match for the Artists of Stardom champions. We have EXV of Hanako, Waka, and Rian taking on Saida, Hanan, and Momokogo. The one cool thing about this, well, the many cool things about this, is you have the New Blood champions on one side with Rice of Red or Hanako, and Waka. And then you have the Stardom champions, the Goddess champions on the other side of Wingori, Hanan, and Saida. So I really like that pairing. We did have some cool tag team exchanges in this match. Match starts off with some really great chain wrestling with Waka and Momokogo. Again, Waka is a very underrated chain wrestler, and I'm not expecting Waka to have these 13, 14 minute Utami High is just the classics in the 5-star Grand Prix. But she's going to be one that I think is going to have a fun tournament. Again, this is what I said last week, the opportunity tournament. And Waka is somebody that I think is going to take advantage of that opportunity. We get some classic stars teamwork onto Waka. Waka's able to fire up with some forearms onto Saida. You know it's eventually going to happen. Saida's going to return fire. She can return fire with those chops. And boy, you can hear the echo of those chops in this building. Hanako's seen enough. She comes in. She's the big bruiser of this match. Tackles, lariats, slams, big King Kong Bundy style avalanche splashes in the corner for all. They make Hanako look like an absolute Hanako look like an absolute badass here because she is. So Hanan's like, I think I know how to crack the code that is Hanako. She goes for that twisting 180 body press, and Hanako just catches her as if she weighs like next to nothing. So I thought that was cool. Then we get and I've been mentioning this last couple weeks when we do see these three of EXV, Hanako, Rion, and Waka team up. They do these really cool spots where Hanako will either suplex or slam her opponent, and then Rion and Waka they do leapfrog splashes or leapfrog double stomps onto their opponent one after another. Again, the teamwork of these three is really, really good, and I think they would absolutely crushing it if they were to challenge Starlight Kid, Azumi, and Miyu Amasaki for the artist titles. I think they're really, really good. Again, Zena's injured. Micah's injured. Mina's a Ring of Honor champion. She's signed a contract with AEW. These three are really holding up EXV. Excellent stuff there. Hanan and Momo Kogo, they come in. They do their best Rock and Roll Express impersonation. They hit a whole bunch of double drop kicks to Hanako. That really is kind of like her kryptonite in the match. Kind of takes her out for the rest of the match. Momo Kogo, again, she's another one. I cannot wait to see what she does in the 5-star Grand Prix. She's really been crushing it. Momo Kogo hits this beautiful springboard crossbody to the floor. We get the Stars Bulldog onto Rion, and that opens up the door for Hanan to hit the Hanan special onto Rion for the 3 count. 4 stars for me. This was fantastic. Again, my favorite match of this show. 12 minutes, almost went 12 minutes. Give this 2 or 3 minutes. This would be a 4.25 to 4.5 star match. These two teams are really, really special. And again, the artist belts, they've been doing a great job with the artist belts, especially you went from the work rate angels of Tam, Soriano, and Natsupoi to this great trio of Neo Genesis, Azumi, Starlight Kid, and Miyu Amasaki. I mean, pick either one of these teams or just do them back to back. Have Neo Genesis have a successful title defense against EXV, and then have Ida, Hanan, and Momo Kogo representing Stars. Have them come out and challenge next. You can literally do 2 back-to-back within a few weeks' time. So, again, excellent stuff. 4 stars for me. Semi-main event, Azumi and Mei Seira, the high-speed sisters, as I'm going to call them, taking on Suzu Suzuki and Bozilla, the brutality sisters, I guess we shall call them in this match. Bozilla comes in, double tackles to Azumi and Mei Seira. She's really starting. Bozilla knows we're not going to match speed here. Let's use our power to slow this down right away, and that's what she does. Bozilla and Suzu really start beating up on Azumi. That opens up the door for Suzu Suzuki to hit the drive-by onto Azumi. Bozilla then hits those brutal chops to Azumi. Azumi takes her butt kicking here. And I love me some Azumi. Who doesn't? Azumi's really on the back foot majority of this match. Again, very much like match number 1 with Hina and Sayaka Kurora. Majority of that tag match is just building towards their championship match. That's what this is. A lot of the Suzu was great. Mei Seira was great. There's great teamwork with Azumi and Mei Seira. Obviously, Mei Seira and Suzu Suzuki had that great match, that no DQ match back at All-Star Grand Kingdom back at the end of April. They play off that a little, but majority of this match is, and rightfully so, you're building towards Azumi and Bozilla. You're getting people excited for Azumi and Bozilla. You want to sell more tickets for people to see that match, more Stardom World subscriptions as well. So really, really great stuff there. We do see that Suzu Suzuki escapes a German suplex. Mei Seira escapes a German suplex. He hits a Suzu with a super kick and a big drop kick. Bozilla comes in, hits a Samoan drop she hits Mei Seira with a shoulder tackle and a Samoan drop to Azumi. And then we get Azumi and Mei Seira. They start using their high-speed offense to slow down one Bozilla. We do see Azumi hit the Tree of Woe double stomp onto Bozilla. That was great. They have a top rope fight. It looks like Bozilla's going to hit the superplex onto Azumi. Azumi stops it, hits the Tree of Woe double stomp. It was a really cool thing to see because Bozilla is so much bigger and stronger than Azumi. And Azumi's like, I don't care. I have no fear. Hits the double stomp. And then when Bozilla comes back up from selling the double stomp, she gets hit in the head with a big head kick. I thought that was great. And I like how Azumi doesn't wait for Bozilla to get all the way up. She starts to get up slowly. I'm like, I'm going to put you down. It hits the big head kick. I love the psychology of that. May Sarah hits a big drop kick that sets up an Azumi Sushi onto Bozilla for like a 2.9 count. Really great falsy there. Again, I like how May Sarah and Azumi, they have really great underrated teamwork. Again, when we think of great tag teams in Neo Genesis, I know Suzu's not in there, but we would always say Suzu and May Sarah, Crazy Star. We would always say Suzu and Starlight Kid. Again, they were in last year's Goddess Tournament as Crazy Tiger Girl. We would always say Starbomb, Starlight Kid, and Azumi. We would always say Azumi, Miyu, Amasaki as O2 line. But when we get these pairing of Azumi and Miyu Amasaki, whether it's a tag or whether it's a 6 or 8 person, and we see the teamwork between Azumi and May Sarah, the team I wouldn't mind seeing making a run or getting matches against an FWC, a Wanako, against a Wingori. They work really well together, and this was a really great closing sequence. Again, Azumi, they kind of have Bozilla kind of rocked, and May Sarah hits that big drop kick. Azumi with the Azumi Sushi almost gets a 3 count. Eventually, Suzuki comes in for the save, takes out May Sarah. That opens up the door for this insane Liger Bomb from one Bozilla, planting poor Azumi in the mat. 3 3/4 stars. Really great match, and I'm really excited for their New Japan Strong Championship match coming up next week. Again, because when Rob and I were talking last week, like we know it's going to be good because Azumi's great and Bozilla's great, but Bozilla's never wrestled anybody like Azumi's style because there really isn't anybody in wrestling like Azumi, and she really is one of one. And Azumi's wrestled some ass kickers, the Micahs, the Shiris, the Utamis, the Julius. There's been some really, really great, the Jumbo Princess. She's wrestled some really, really great, strength wrestlers, great ass kickers. So it's like, but Bozilla's on a different level. So again, Bozilla's never wrestled anybody in the high speed style like Azumi, and Azumi's never wrestled anybody like one Bozilla. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it happens, how it's gonna go. And then this was just a little preview of what we're going to get in 7 days' time. So Himika, for some reason, I couldn't remember Himika's name. So yes, the Jumbo Princess Himika. She had a great match with Himika. I believe it was in the 2022 5-star Grand Prix. Maybe I'll watch that match tonight. But again, like we know it's going to be good, but how's this going to work? And we saw a preview here in this match. And it's like, oh, I was excited before for their match in Cork and Hall. Now I'm really, really excited because again, Bozilla, she can work with anybody. Azumi, she can work with anybody. It's in Cork and Hall. Singles match for a championship. These two are going to make magic. I'm so excited for that match. Main event, Ami Sourei, Lady C, and Saki Kashima. They are representing God's Eye, taking on Saya Kamatani, Konami, and Momo Watanabe. Ami Sourei gets streamers. Yes, more streamers in Joshi. Please, let's get more streamers. We saw Saya Kamatani and Sari get a whole bunch of streamers on this past week's Sariism show. We get some streamers from time to time in Marigold. We need them more often. I love streamers. Terrible to clean up, but they're really, really cool. It adds to the pageantry of the match. And as soon as Ami gets the streamers, we get a hate jump. Then we get Konami and Momo Watanabe. They start just kicking away at poor Ami. Sorry. Saki Kashima comes in here, and again, their leader, Sherry's taking time off. She comes in, and she's making up for lost time. Saki Kashima's striking game was on point here. Like brutal kicks to Momo Watanabe and Konami, who are two of the hardest kickers in this company. Like she really brought the striking game. Like way to go, Saki Kashima. Lady C, she comes in with a giant swing to Saya Kamatani. Konami comes in, makes the save with a whole bunch of strikes and a penalty kick to Lady C. Ami Sourei, she comes in, shoulder tackles everybody, but that doesn't last long as Momo Watanabe and Konami, they hit a kick sandwich onto Ami Sourei. That opens the door for Konami to hit Ami Sourei with a rolling armbar. Really great sequence there, almost making Ami tap. We do see Lady C and Saki Kashima. They come in for the save. Really great stuff with Lady C and Saya Kamatani. Again, they are on night 1 of the 5-star Grand Prix. I'm expecting Lady C to probably have her best match ever because she's in the ring with the Wrestler of the Year, and Lady C's in a big spot here for its 5-star. So she looked great here. Again, they did some great stuff building towards Lady C and Saya Kamatani on their night 1 match. We do get the Sai Queen, Konami and Saya Kamatani. They do the dropkick German suplex spot onto Ami Sourei. That opens up the door for Konami to lock Ami in the triangle answer. But we do have, once again, Lady C and Saki Kashima. Now do they make the save. They clear house, taking out Momo Watanabe and Saya Kamatani. That opens up the door for Ami Sourei to hit the Blue Thunder Bomb and the Like a Thunderbolt combination back-to-back for the 3 count, 12 minutes, 49 seconds, 3 3/4 stars. So overall, really good show, really good main event. Again, my favorite match was that Stars versus EXV. Folks, we only have one show to review. Again, next week we're going to be loaded. We got a lot of Io and Kairi watch. We have SmackDown on Friday. We have Evolution on Sunday. And we have Monday Night Raw as well. So, folks, let's get into this. Before I do, because, again, there's a lot to talk about with Io and Kairi. Get myself a little drink here. So we go to Friday Night SmackDown, which, again, big ups to my man Darren Chat and give me time cues, tell me who's on what, save me a little bit of time, not have to comb through all these massive shows that WWE is putting on. So, again, as always, thanks, Darren. So Kairi, again, who is part of Raw, she was on Raw the week before, which I did cover on last week's Stardom Cast. Had a great match with Roxanne Perez, but we are going to a 4-way dance. This is basically building up their 4-way tag dance at Evolution. As you have Kairi taking on Alexa Bliss, taking on Sol Roca, taking on Roxanne Perez. Again, I'm going to get into it in just a moment because at Evolution for the tag titles, we did have Kairi teaming with Asuka, Alexa teaming with Charlotte Flair, Sol Roca teaming with Zarya, and Roxanne Perez, one half of the tag team champions, teaming with Raquel Rodriguez. So we get a 4-way. So we get this match. Kairi with some stiff shots onto Sol Roca. I don't get to see that much of Sol Roca. I used to watch her in NXT when Stephanie McCurry was there and when Julia was there, just as part of our gaze at Julia. And, of course, Stephanie Vacker is great. Just because I only have 24 hours in a day, I don't watch as much NXT as I would like. I know they're crushing it over there and good on them. But Sol Roca was great here in this match, especially with Kairi. I think Sol Roca was the MVP in this match. Her stuff with Kairi, they had instant chemistry. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't think these two have ever wrestled each other. I think by the time Sol Roca came into NXT, Kairi was either back in Japan or on the main roster. So I don't think they've ever wrestled before. And these two had instant chemistry. Really great stuff here. Roxanne Perez, Luthed press on to Kairi. Again, Roxanne Perez and Kairi, they had a really great singles match on Monday Night Raw in the prior week. Sol Roca hits a springboard Joshi dropkick to basically clear the house. And then she hits the Sasuke special onto the floor. Again, Sol Roca was phenomenal here. I know she's the NXT North America champion. I don't expect her to be on that NXT roster too much longer because she was great here. It was great in the tag match in Evolution. Again, she is a next level talent. So I think she's going to be called up to the main roster sooner than later. Roxanne Perez and Kairi, they have a top rope fight that leads to the Tower of Doom spot. Then we get Alexa Bliss and Sol Roca. They have a forearm trade-off. Excellent stuff there. Roxanne Perez then does that double jump springboard moonsault for a 2 count onto Alexa. Kairi and Sol Roca, they have a top rope fight that Kairi wins. Kairi hits the Marine Spike, the trio double stomp onto Sol Roca for a 2 count. Sol Roca comes back with the Soul Slasher, which if you haven't seen, the best way for me to explain it is she runs up the rope. She does basically an inverted 450 and then comes down with a diamond cutter. But she hit it onto both Roxanne Perez and Alexa Bliss. We do get a big fight on the outside with Zarya, Raquel Rodriguez, Charlotte Flair, and Asuka, again, because they're their respective partners. So we got to get them involved. Kairi then hits the cutlass onto Sol Roca, and then she goes up to the top rope to put away Alexa Bliss with the insane elbow, because Alexa Bliss was taken out with the Soul Snatcher. So she was still our Soul Slasher. So she was still selling that. So Kairi takes out Sol Roca, opens up the door for the insane elbow. But when she does, Alexa Bliss gets her knees up at the last second. And then that opens up the door for Alexa Bliss to hit Kairi with the Sister Abigail, getting the 3 count. This was a great match. Kairi has been on a lot of WWE TV, and she's taking advantage. She's really crushing it. Again, great matches teaming with Asuka. Great stuff with Roxanne Perez last week. This 4-way was terrific. And again, that was Friday. Let's go to Sunday. WWE Evolution. Folks, I did have Allison Danger. She did tell me off air she would like to watch this show and do a full review. So hopefully in the next few weeks or so, we will do a full review of this Evolution show, because I know a lot of people said this was the best show all weekend last weekend. And you had All In, you had Death Before Dishonor, you had Evolution, Great American Bash, you had Saturday Night's Main Event. but I know there were a lot of people saying the best overall show, start to finish, was Evolution. I've only gotten a chance to watch the triple threat that started. Lila, Valkyria, Becky, and Bailey. Obviously, the EO match, which we're going to talk about, and then this match I want to talk about right now. So I'm going to try to watch this entire show and then schedule a date and time with one Allison Danger to do a review as a bonus episode. But so here we go. Evolution 4-way tag team match. This took place on the 13th of August, Sunday night. So again, 4-way tag team championship, as we have the champions, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez, defending against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, defending against Sol Ruca and Zaharia, defending against the former champions, Kairi and Asuka, the Kabuki Warriors. First fall, one fall wins it all, no disqualification. So match starts off, Kairi hitting a dropkick onto Roxanne Perez. We get some really great fast action with Kairi and Roxanne. Again, these two have really good chemistry. That opens up the door for some Kabuki Warriors teamwork onto Roxanne Perez. Everybody kind of comes in, hits something, and then Raquel comes in and slows everything down. She's the big dominant heel. Really great stuff there. Sol Ruca then hits a springboard X Factor onto Alexa Bliss for a 2 count. Charlotte Flair, she comes in. Charlotte Flair got a massive reaction. Like, it took her a while for her to tag in, and everyone was chanting, "We want Charlotte, we want Charlotte." I know, like, Charlotte's not everybody's favorite because a lot of people think, well, she's over pushed and this and this. She's great. I think she's the greatest WWE women's wrestler of all time just because of what she's been able to do over the last 10 years or so. I mean, she has the longevity. I think eventually, especially if they keep giving Io the ball, I think Io will surpass her because obviously Io has better top tier matches, in my opinion, than Charlotte Flair. But Charlotte Flair has just been doing it longer. And do they have the machine behind her? 100%. Is she great? You can't deny that. She is such a great wrestler. She's fantastic. So it's nice to see. Again, poor Charlotte gets booed quite a bit. As soon as she gets tagged in, the place goes nuts. Molten. She comes in, chops, big boot style, excellent stuff. She hits a big spear to Roxanne Perez for a 2 count. Asuka comes in, and pretty much everybody in the match eats a German. She hits her strike combo on the Roxanne Perez. We do see Charlotte Flair. She comes back in, hitting the big boots, the chops, and then Sol Ruca comes in. She hits the soul snatcher to Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair, and then Zaharia, she comes in. She looks like she's going to hit the spear onto Alexa Bliss. Charlotte Flair then pulls Alexa Bliss out of the way, and Zaharia accidentally spears Sol Ruca. My guess is that's probably where they're going to go. Probably maybe at NXT Heatwave with Zaharia and Sol Ruca for that North American Championship. Again, really great stuff here. Again, it looked like Alexa Bliss was ready to eat that spear, but it is Charlotte Flair pulling her out of the way. That was a really, really cool spot. Really well timed. Then we have Raquel. She power bombs Alexa Bliss over the top rope on everybody. That was great, and that opens up the door for Raquel Rodriguez to hit Sol Ruca with the Hana bomb, her version of the power bomb for the 3 count. Really great match, really great fast-paced stuff. We did set up, again, my opinion, they're probably going to do Sol Ruca versus Zaharia. I'm just kind of using my wrestling brain here. You easily set that up in this match. My guess, NXT Heatwave, and more heel heat in the best way possible for Roxanne and Raquel Rodriguez. Really great stuff there. Folks, we go to one of the best matches of the year in any company. I did not watch this show live. Again, my Sundays are long. And I went to bed and I was like, I think that that when I wake up, I'm going to find out that Rhea is the new champion. I figured that's the direction they're going to go. Obviously, again, folks, if you've seen this match, spoilers, she does not come out as champion. A surprise cash in which nobody saw coming because they did a great job building up on SmackDown that Naomi was going to cash in on Tiffany Stratton, and they kept teasing it. And then they, just when you think they're going to go right, they're going to go left, which I thought was genius here. But the thing I heard the most was really cool ending, better match. There are some people thought that this match was a little bit better than the WrestleMania 3-way. I can see that, but I like the WrestleMania 3-way better. Regardless, folks, I watched this match twice. I'm not going to go through everything. I'm going to kind of just go through the highlights. If you have not seen this match, watch it. It is one of the best matches of the year. Whether you're a Stardom fan, AEW fan, WWE fan, New Japan fan, this is one of the best matches of the year in all of wrestling. This was phenomenal. And Io was on. Don't get me wrong. Rhea was great. And Rhea's a massive star. She's the biggest star in women's wrestling globally, period. You can't deny that. Rhea was great here, but this was another coming out party for our beloved one, Io Sky / Io Shirai. Io with the fast-paced start, hits a head scissors onto Rhea. Again, I'm just going to go through a couple beats here. Hits the Ase moonsault to the outside. Io then goes to the 619, the Tiger Feint kick, but instead of hitting the kick, she almost catches Rhea into a head scissors and then slaps and then basically send Rhea headfirst to the apron. I thought that was great. We get an apron fight, which Rhea obviously wins. Rhea starts grinding Io down with an armbar, trying to slow down the pace. Io comes back with a satellite DDT. We get a forearm trade-off between the two, which Rhea wins. Io then comes back with a Casadora double stomp. Then she follows it up with a big head kick and a German suplex. We don't see Rhea Ripley eating many German suplexes, especially the fact that like Io is like half her size. I thought that was great. We get some back and forth action. Io goes to the top rope for the moonsault. Rhea stops it. Rhea tries a top rope German suplex, but Io lands on her feet. There is one point in this match that the crowd is chanting, "Let's go Io, Io Sky." It wasn't like "Let's go Io, Rhea Ripley," because they're both baby faces. They were literally a dueling chant both for Io. "Let's go Io, Io Sky. Let's go Io, Io Sky." And I'm like, you're the biggest star in women's wrestling in this match, and you're getting two chants, and they're both for Io. Again, why aren't we massively pushing one Io Shirai? I mean, let's go here. Let's go. We get Io with a poison Rana onto Rhea. Rhea comes back, hits a razor's edge, and this brutal powerbomb. I don't know what powerbomb was worse, the one that Bozilla did to Azumi or the one that Rhea did in this match to Io. Let me know, folks. Let me know which one you think was more like oof. Io starts making her comeback. She goes for the springboard dropkick, but she hits the referee. The referee, I think it was Jessica Carr. She takes a great bump. Rhea takes advantage. She hits the riptide. No referee. Rhea's pissed off. She then hits another insane razor's edge. Almost, it's like a version of the running three, really. We eventually get a fight onto the floor. They go all over the arena. Io does a dive off a whole bunch of cases. That was great. We go back to we go back in the ring a little bit. Io then hits a sunset powerbomb onto the floor, which I thought was great. If I watched this live, I would have been on this finish. So she hits the powerbomb onto the floor. Rhea goes in the ring. As soon as Rhea gets into the ring from taking this beating from Io, she gets hit with the moonsault. And they've done a great job building and protecting the moonsault over these last few months. She hits the moonsault. Rhea kicks out at 2.9. Huge pop. Everybody now starts chanting for Rhea. This is perfect wrestling, great storytelling, excellent stuff. Io goes to the top rope. We get a brawl between the two, another top rope fight. I thought that Rhea would have hit the top rope riptide. We've seen her hit that before. We've seen Io counter before. If you remember, Io countered it into a top rope hurricanrana and then hitting the moonsault to defeat Rhea to win the championship a handful of months ago. But oh no, top rope Spanish fly. Like, oh man. Again, Rhea was great in this match. Io's just on another level, folks. She really is. And it's just the fact that like she hasn't had a match in I think over a month. It's like you give her the opportunity and this is what you're getting. Like this is what you're getting. Both these wrestlers down. That leads to Naomi. She comes in, cashes in her Money in the Bank. It's now a triple threat, which means there are no rules. First thing she does is she hits Io in the head with the briefcase, takes Rhea Ripley. She goes shoulder first into the post, and then hits that beautiful split-legged moonsault onto one Io for the 3 count. Naomi, new champion. Folks, 5-star match. This is one of the very few 5-star matches that I give to the WWE just because they're not, and even Michael Cole said it, they're an entertainment company first, a wrestling company second. You will be entertained by, and they have great wrestlers. Their wrestling is great, but is it as good as a Stardom, a Marigold, a New Japan, AEW? Not really, especially go to that top tier. But Io might be the best wrestler in the world. Even Dave Meltzer said it. Like, Io might be the best overall wrestler in the world. Tom Lawler, who I love Tom Lawler, I think he even said he thought the best wrestler in the world this year was either Mystico or Will Ospreay. He's like, no, I think it's Io. Which, again, give her the opportunity. She's crushing it. And Rhea's having her best matches with Io. Again, what does that tell you? So we go to Monday Night Raw. Opening segment. Basically, we're just setting up. You have Io in the ring, Rhea in the ring, Naomi in the ring. The three of them are kind of going back and forth. Adam Pearce comes out and he even says, before I even tell you what I'm going to say, you ladies crushed it. You crushed it. You stole the show. Great match. Great match at Evolution. But at WrestleMania, we are going to have a three-way with Naomi, Rhea Ripley, and one Io Sky. So this SummerSlam, which again, MetLife is only an hour, maybe 40 minutes away from me. I was at WrestleMania 29. That was there. WrestleMania 35. That was there. I was contemplating going. I still might be like 25% chance I go just because I'm just so busy with a lot of stuff and the ticket prices are crazy. But I was like, I don't know how the SummerSlam is going to shake out. We have Cody and Cena, which should be Cody winning the belt back. We have Punk and Gunther, which is going to be great. And we have this match as well on tap. So and then Becky Lynch and Lila Valkyria, I believe. So this SummerSlam is looking to shape up to be a really, really good show. I might go to Bloodsport. If you're going to Bloodsport, let me know. But yeah, they're doing a great job. This SummerSlam 2 nights is really shaping up to be a really great show. And this one might steal the show. You know, another three-way involving Io and Rhea. And then obviously no Bianca Belair in this match like we had at WrestleMania, but we have Naomi. Naomi is really, really good. Especially we know that she's the big heel in this match. My guess is because Naomi just won, she's going to retain at SummerSlam. Again, we'll get into that in the next couple weeks. The very next segment, WWE, they made it easy on me. From what I understand, the first 90 minutes of Raw was all like women's wrestling. So, or all like women's segment, which is awesome. Way to go. You're coming off Evolution, you know, getting a lot of buzz. Way to take advantage. Non-championship match, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez taking on the Kabuki Warriors of Asuka and Kairi. I have to touch upon it. Kairi's the best. She opens up in her umbrella. Some reason, maybe she opened up a little bit too fast, but the umbrella opened up backwards and it off. Like Kyrie's just like so good in the moment. Like if something goes wrong, she makes it to her advantage. It goes to show you how smart Kyrie is. Right in the beginning, Raquel overpowers Kyrie. Asuka comes in, strikes 2-1 Raquel. Raquel tags out. We get some strikes to Roxanne Perez. And then we do have this part for me was really cool. Again, me being such a fan of All Japan in the 90s. Asuka hits the Kawada kicks. And Corey Graves says, oh, we got some Kawada kicks. So shout out to Yoshiaki Kawada getting some love shown on Monday Night Raw. And thank you to Corey Graves because he really knows his stuff. I thought that was awesome. Kyrie chops Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez took a beating in this match. She does a great job of getting her butt kicked. She took an absolute beating. We get this awesome double submission spot from the Kabuki Warriors onto the tag champs. And then Raquel powers out of Kyrie's triangle choke and power bombs Kyrie on top of Asuka. I thought that was great. That was terrific. Asuka comes back with a pop-up knee and a running knee attack to Roxanne Perez for a 2 count. Kabuki Warriors then hit the assisted insane elbow onto Roxanne Perez. Dirty Dom Mysterio, he distracts the referee. Asuka comes in and she hits a German suplex onto Roxanne Perez. Again, Roxanne Perez just taking a butt kick in this entire match. Eventually, though, we do see Dominic Mysterio the second time in this match. He gets on the apron, distracting the referee. Asuka's like, no, I'm not going to take it anymore. Again, this makes sense for Dominic to distract the referee so the referee doesn't get over to the insane elbow spot until it's too late. So now the second time Dominic gets up on the apron, which is like 90 seconds later, Asuka just takes out Dominic with a spinning back fist, gets a huge pop, and then Roxanne Perez rolls up Asuka with a little bit of cheating from one Raquel for the 3 count. Solid enough match. Really fun stuff. Folks, I didn't think this episode was going to go an hour. We're at about $1:20. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode. That is going to wrap it up for this episode. Again, folks, if you have not seen that championship match from Evolution, what are you doing? Io, Rhea Ripley, in front of like 8,000 people. People are going nuts. Even Michael Cole said, I think Io is the best wrestler in the world. It's hard to disagree. It's really great seeing Io getting the proper time to tell her story. I wish it would happen more often, but again, she's in a main event level match coming up in SummerSlam in front of, that'll probably be like 45,000 people by the time they sell the tickets. My guess that one's going to steal the show because she's stealing the show consistently. I mean, Io is a next level performer. And again, Io, right up there with Mayu, in my opinion, the greatest in-ring women's wrestler of all time. And the fact that she can apply that trade on the big stage that is WWE, and the fact that she doesn't speak perfect English because obviously she's from Japan, but still is able to connect with the audience, just goes to show you what a next level performer one Io Sky / Shirai is. So, yep, folks, that is going to wrap it up for this episode. Again, coming up next week, we do have our 5-star primer where Rob and I will be breaking down the 5-star Grand Prix. That is one of our most fun episodes. And I know there's been years that we would do reviews of the show, and then do our 5-star primer. And that usually takes us to like a 3-hour show. But again, because there's so much stuff to talk about in the 5-star Grand Prix, the biggest playoff system they've ever had, the most participants they've ever had, really not an unclear winner of who's going to win. Plus, again, we have, I think, like 4 shows to review next week. So we decided we're going to split up the Stardom Cast episode. So again, the beginning of the week, you'll get the 5-star primer. Towards the end of next week, you'll get our review of, again, these shows from the 16th, the 17th, as well as the pay-per-view coming up on Monday. And it looks like, again, the Cork and Hall show is on Thursday. So pending on, there's a possibility that the Cork and Hall show will tag that on in 2 weeks to the first few shows of the 5-star Grand Prix. I think that's how it's going to happen. But regardless, folks, you're going to get 2 Stardom Cast episodes next week. Again, the 5-star primer at the beginning of the week and the review of all these fantastic shows, as well as that big pay-per-view on Monday at the end of the week. So, yeah, folks, that's going to wrap it up. Questions, comments, suggestions, anything you need from me, Matt Turner OF on the Instagram, the Twitter, and the Blue Sky is the easiest, fastest, and best way to get a hold of me. Or, folks, you can simply send me an email. The email address is thestardomcast22@gmail.com. Folks, thanks for bearing with me, rolling this one solo. We greatly appreciate your support. Can't do without you. It's like I always say, it's just not my podcast. It's our podcast. Because all together, everybody's different. Everybody's special.